Are you wondering how to read Spanish books? I want to share with you my mindset that can help encourage you and inspire you to start reading Spanish books today. My name is Franklin, and this is first1000hours.com.
Don't give up on your language learning marathon. You can make it. You can make it in your first 1,000 hours.
I want to say hello to everybody that is watching this in the live chat, and also those who potentially are watching this for a replay. I want to let you know that I did a previous live stream where I was talking about how I was reading my first Spanish book, and I want to share excerpts of that with you today. And while that video is playing, I will be in the live chat as well. Actually, I don't see anybody in the live chat at this moment, but if you are going to be in the live chat, I will be talking with you. Okay, so with no further ado, I'll go ahead and play that video. So, you know, at first, reading this book, that was huge. This was not a little small book. You know, this was a huge book. It was more like, it was like a book that was so big. But what happened is, you know, the Lord just blessed, and I just fought through this book. And so if you follow First 1,000 Hours, you know about that. And I don't know how many people have seen my chicken scratch when it comes to this book. I think this is really inspiring to myself. So I'm gonna get my other camera out just to show this to you, because again, the progression is 450 pages is not a lot of pages for myself at this moment in time. It used to be a lot of pages, but it's not at this point. You can see right here, this book, hopefully you can see it. Like every single page in my first book that I was reading was something where I had to write down, I had to write things down because I didn't know these words. This was a huge book that just, I just didn't know everything. All right, and so I think you can see that, right? But, you know, even though I didn't know a lot, I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that stop me from going through this book. And then, you know, when I actually was serious, a lot of times I was lazy, but I think when you are actually serious about something, it doesn't matter how much you don't know. I think the focus should be on what can you do. And so, you know, I like a promise in the Bible that says I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. So I need to focus on what I can do. All right, and so what I can do is, thank you, Lus. So what I could do is I could spend 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week reading this. And I went a page a day basically for the majority of this book. But guess what? I made progress. It's a lot more progress than it's a lot more progress than doing like nothing. I could look at this book and stare at it and say, oh man, I can't read it, you know? And what's that going to do? That's not doing anything, you know. But if I actually say, you know what, I'm going to take this book out, and I'm going to, instead of me making a page goal, some of us might not need to start with page goals. Maybe start with, okay, I'm going to spend 30 minutes, or maybe still do a page goal, but it doesn't have to be so ambitious. It might not need to be 2,000 pages. It might just need to be what it was for myself, which was I'm going to read one page. I'm going to spend, and I know it's going to take me about 30 minutes to do that, and I'm going to do that 5 days a week. Now this is the big thing about that, okay? This is the awesome, exciting thing about doing that. If you do something like that, then that means that you can finish reading 250 pages in 2020. That's a minimum for anybody here on First 1,000 Hours. You can read at least 250 pages. Now let me explain that. Let me explain this, because you might be thinking, what are you talking about, Franklin? This is a native level Spanish book. This is not dumbed down Spanish. Why are you saying that I can do that? Okay, this is why I say that. Number one, I like what I want to say more and more here. If you can read a sentence, you can read a book. Okay, because if you can read a sentence, then you can read a paragraph. Because paragraphs are composed of sentences, right? So just break it down. Don't look at this as a book. Look at this as a sentence, okay? And go sentence by sentence until you read a paragraph. Now, if you can read a paragraph, then guess what you can do? You can read a page, because pages are just composed of paragraphs. and paragraphs are just composed of sentences. So if you can read a page, you should be able to read one page in 30 minutes. Okay, and so I really spent a lot of time on this. I've talked about how I read my first book, and so I explained this, but I went through this, and it was not like I just did this. I didn't do this in a breeze. I was wondering, how in the world do people transition to reading a book? I'm like, I did do some Duolingo, but it's like, does Duolingo really prepare me for reading this book? No, I had to look up too many things, right? And so I'll just show this to you again. So, if you look at this, right, I'm just looking up all this stuff, but then sometimes, what happened was I actually read, not only did I read like one page, I read 2 pages, and that I was like, whoa, I read 2 pages sometimes. Maybe on a Sunday, I was just reading like 2 pages. And but the thing is, sometimes what I did is I was lazy, and I just knew that on Sunday I didn't work, so I knew that I could actually, spend my time trying to read this book if I wanted to. I'm a single guy, I don't have kids and all this stuff. But what happened is, if I just waited until Sunday, sometimes I wouldn't do anything on Sunday, and so then I'd be a week from not doing anything. So it's better to have a little bit of contact throughout the week. It adds up more. It's better to just do 1 page on Sunday, but then do those other pages 5 days a week, and then you come to 5 pages, and so it's cumulative. So I forgot to explain how you get up to 250 pages, and I'm just going to say this, language learning lover, I see what you said. If you can read a sentence, you can read a book. That's what I'm talking about. Books are just made of sentences. So let me explain. I didn't do all the math, and Les, I'm glad that you like that as well. Okay, so if this book right here is about, actually let me look at this, and I can show this to you. I think you can read that. It's 94 pages long. Okay, so it's 94 pages, and so let's say a book is defined as 100 pages. If you can do that thing where you're spending 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, right? You can read a 100-page book in 5 months. Okay, that means you can read another 100-page book in another 5 months. That would be 10 months. That allows you to read, basically, I said 250, my math's a little off, but basically 250 pages going slow. But if you're slow and steady, they say slow and steady wins the race. Basically going slow and steady, you can read 250 pages, no problem, all right? I would have no problem right now being able to pick up this book without any translation because I'm continuing. But I think what matters more than if you understand something or not, I think, is something that I guess different people say is like quantity equals quality. That's kind of what I believe. That's kind of the philosophy of First 1,000 Hours. Like, I keep on doing videos, and guess what? I'm going to get better the more I do. And so I'm able to connect with you, right? I'm able to talk to this camera, talk to you and all this. I'm always reading and I'm always researching and learning about YouTube and all that on the back end. There's so much I could talk about that, but it's the same with language learning, right? So the more I spend with reading, the better I'm going to understand over time. But I think what happens sometimes is we start at one sentence and we're like, oh man, I don't understand. I can't do this. And we stop at one sentence. Why not keep on going? Why not read the book? Why not read the book? And after you read one book, guess what? You're going to understand a lot more, and your comprehension is going to go up, right? And then you go to the next book. Then you go to the next book, and then you go to the next book. The main point I was saying about like starting with this book and trying to read and all of this, what happens is that opens up other opportunities to the point where now I could take classes that are not even related to language learning, all in Spanish, and be able to function in an all Spanish environment. But guess what I had to do? I had to first do this. I had to first pick up a book and read it by God's grace. And then, I go into another one and another one, and to the point where I'm comfortable going to, have a goal of 2,000 pages, reading 2,000 pages. And I'm excited about the things I'm going to learn. I'm excited about the things I'm going to learn about depression. That's going to be a very interesting thing. Now, Now, I want to let you know that if you would like to get if you would like to get the PDF versions of El Camino Cristo in 9 different languages, you can get the PDF version as well as the audiobook. And I have links in the description of this video. I want to thank you so much for watching this. And I want to let you know as well that if you want to, I want to let you know as well that if you would like to get more tools, tricks, and strategies, you can click a playlist on the screen as well. And then also you can see another video that YouTube